Evening all, welcome to some more tactics. Now this, well, how to kind of frame this. This is where being aggressive is certainly the only way to replay this game if you want to win. Obviously that's a given, but what I find most people forget is that when you attack an opponent, you need to kind of do shock and awe. And this is the old kind of blitzkrieg mentality here. A lot of people play this game, and I am going to cite a bit of historical reference for you. A lot of people play this game with a bit more of a defense strategy in mind. So with dominations particularly, what they do is they rush the point, they set up their base of defense, and then they sit there waiting for you. And I think that works. There's nothing wrong with that. That can be quite an effective tactic. What I find works incredibly well is when you blitzkrieg. You literally just rush at your enemy with incredibly overwhelming force, but then also run beyond them as well, which is something that I think is really quite interesting. So in this scenario, we've obviously got a superior force against us, but what we did is we actually came at them with the forces concentrated in the right point. So that, yeah, we had our 2 tanks. They've got 4 tanks, by the way. I haven't mentioned that. In fact, I think they had 5, but there was and versus 3. And what we did is we started to single out each tank, call it as a primary, and then destroy it, while the dropship support and the infantry support focused on the infantry that were coming in. Now, the infantry in this, there was a team of Dust Brazil who were actually on top of the tall tower, doing quite an effective job of sniping and forge gunning down, which again makes it quite an interesting thing. It's almost a stationary defense around us, and what we found is being highly mobile, highly let's say, agile, we were able to pretty much quote blitzkrieg them, and I think really this was a great example of that, because we very quickly, and you probably can't see this, but again, watch the kill feed, but we're certainly wiping their tanks down quite nicely. So here we go, another tank to be dealt with, and for some reason they just seem to kind of go into this little bit here. So while this is going on, there's other tank battles going on with the guys kind of wiping out their tanks. And then it got to the point where pretty much this map was won 2.5 minutes into the match, and you'll see why in just a moment. But at this point they are now calling in reinforcement tanks, and which, instead of sitting there and waiting and letting them group up and muster, we immediately hit an attack. So before they're really kind of ready, we then kill that one, AP kills one on the other side as well, and then all that's left is pretty much a couple of railgun tanks on their side. So within the space of probably a minute and a half, we wiped out their entire tank force, and the infantry guys are doing quite a good job from their point of view, and Evo's also doing a very good job in the air, keeping their dropships out of the way and unable to kind of drop off more. And then I get an orbital, and pretty much this is the dying embers of this match. So literally this whole match, which should have lasted probably 15-20 minutes, and it did. I've actually cut it all out. This match was won in the first 2.5, 3 maybe 3 minutes, as you can see here, because this orbital was pretty much the killing blow to them. Now this is a really great example of where stationary defense is not a great idea all the time. They probably didn't think we'd have an orbital even by this point in the match, but we did. Trollface.jpg. As you can see, look at that kill feed, kill, equipment, stuff, many commissions, blah blah. I mean, it's just literally epic. And that and just to make sure that they they knew they were beaten, well, rather to let us know that they were beaten, they actually left, the whole gang's left, and we ended up with just like whole new people coming in. So but again, quick snippet. I like to show these things to really, I mean, I know this is obvious to a lot of you, but I think sometimes people forget. A lot of people play solo, for example. If you play solo, you'll never have this level of coordination, where pretty much we had 2 dropships, we had 3 tanks, and we had an infantry person, and it worked really well. In fact, I even think we even had just 5 people in the gang. But either way, 3 tanks working in unison to wipe out a superior force, and these weren't just all militia tanks. You saw a Federation Madruga at the start. These were good tanks. And what we found we were able to do was pretty much work together and wipe them out. Even if they had superior numbers, even if they had the elevated position, even if they had the field on their own terms, we still pretty much cock punched them from the get-go. And as you can see, the only tactic really left to them, I don't know if you saw that very quickly on the screen, there were basically 3 rail tanks shooting us from afar. Fast forward, match ends, we win. I like to show these things because I think some people forget that sometimes this isn't a 15-minute game that people play. The game is usually won or lost, I find, in the first 3 minutes. And I think this is a great example of that. And we'll show another one. We'll do another tactics video right after this one, which shows exactly the same thing again, where the force have set up, they in theory have everything set, and it's up to us to push them out. And I'll show you how we push them out at least how we did it. And I think just having the right machines, the right equipment, and the right attitude, and being fairly aggressive will win you dividends in this game. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. I think these little snippet and bites I like to show, because I think at the end of the day, the game really is a series of moments, and I think it's the moments like that that really just make you smile, sit back and say, that's a good game. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.